Okay, the next one is how to use Zebra to create your Psy bass. Awesome VST instrument, probably one of my favourites. But we're not going to get into that, it's not a course on Zebra, it's just on how to use Zebra to create a bass. So here we go. Okay, the first thing we need to do is create an oscillator. And it's really easy to do. All you need to do, like let's get rid of that one for instance. All you need to do is come to the slots here, click on it and select oscillator 1. Job done. Okay, we also want this oscillator to re-trigger. So we'll just click on that button there, that's the re-trigger button. Now, sounds quite good already, but obviously it's not really what we want. I'll just up that output a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just add another oscillator, so oscillator 2, and I'm going to change that to quad to get it nice and chunky, and again re-trigger. Now it should be mega loud and chunky, which is what we want. Okay, and of course the obligatory filter. We'll just use VCF1. So what do we have? We've got two oscillators giving us that big chunky saw wave sound, and you can change the wave here, but you don't really want to. If you look in here, oscillator 1, that's the wave shape. If I change that, it goes up and down. It's for wavetable synthesis really, so you can have any kind of wave in here, but we're just going to do the saw, and it's the same for oscillator 2. You can mess around with the voice mode as well, but we're just going to leave it as it is. I want this to be as simple as possible. Okay, and then we have the filter, and in this case we'll use the low pass vintage settings, and we'll bring the cutoff down. Okay, nice and simple. What we're also going to do is use an envelope to control the cutoff of the filter. And in Zebra, you see the knobs with the little kind of dots below them. They're kind of modulation areas. So for instance, this one here is for the cutoff, and this one's for the resonance. So whatever I assign to this will control the cutoff. And in this instance, we're just going to use envelope 1. Again, keeping it nice and simple. And then we would change the settings on Zebra, on the envelope, to get the cutoff right. So if I do that, as you can see, the settings of the envelope are reducing the cutoff. Okay, so now we'll just mess around with the envelope. In this instance, we'll keep it on 8, but we're going to change it to V-slope. I'm not going to get into the details of this, but it just gives us an exponential envelope, if you like. But we'll just leave it in the center anyway, where it is. It's just, I guess it's faster, more accurate. Nice already. And what we'll do here is this velocity is directly related to the velocity. If we come in here, like for instance, if I do this, there's no change, and that's because the velocity is at 0. But if I change the velocity, you can hear the velocity starting to be predominant. So let's set this up and get a nice sound. And as you can hear again, all the fundamentals are the same. The decay is kind of controlling the punchiness, the length of the note really. So if you just mess around with those settings alone, you'll be able to get a nice full-on or kind of psytrance bass sound. And again, it works with all the different patterns. So we've got you could maybe, if you wanted to, make those a bit longer. So it really is up to you, but it's that simple. And remember, these are just bass lines using these. You can do other things, you know. You can EQ them, you can compress them, you can do whatever you want. But I'm just trying to show you how easy it is to make that psytrance basic kind of bass sound. Dark. Obviously, you would need to sidechain the kick in the first note there. Or you could really reduce the decay. So let's see if we can get a really good sound here. Okay, and again you can do the good old octave trick, where you put the notes up or down an octave depending on what you're after. And of course you can use the velocity to get whatever you're after. Now, is obviously because we've used the velocity there, it's changed, so you would have to come in and change the it's changed the feel of the bass, so you maybe best to mess around with your settings again. And it depends how much you want the velocity affect the sound. And of course it's got its own built-in effects as well. For instance, I could come down here and add, don't know, let's add an EQ. Say we want to take some of that bottom end away. So you can mess around with it in there if you like. But that's it, again, very simple. So that's it, nice and easy, nice and simple, and of course you can be adventurous, you can add all kinds of things, additional tools. Let's see what happens. But just the basics, that's all we need. As long as you've got a good solid basic sound, then you can do whatever you like to it afterwards. And what you'll probably find is, if you mess around with this long enough, I'll take that comb filter away, you probably won't need to do anything else to the sound. I mean, how many times have you heard that? How many times? Okay, so there you have it in Zebra. Next one's Albino.